Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jess and The Guest. My guest today is the hilarious, the talented, the amazing Mark Normand. We talk about everything from doing stand-up and touring during COVID to doing his Tonight Show appearance on the Staten Island ferry. The last time I was on the ferry, I was throwing up. He's doing a Tonight Show appearance. We're equally successful, okay? He is one of the funniest people I know, one of the best joke writers. We talk everything from texting Jerry Seinfeld, opening for Amy Schumer, dealing with Hollywood in general, just everything, internet outrage. He is one of the funniest and kindest people I know, and I'm so excited for you to listen to this. Hi, how are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for doing this. I feel like you're doing everything right now. You're making everyone else look bad. You're doing so
much. I mean, it's just out of boredom and sanity. If I sit still, I'll, get sad.
I know. No, yeah, I can't relate at all. No. Okay, so I feel like you've done stand-up everywhere. I've seen you at heated domes, the ferries, parks, rooftops. Is there a place you haven't done stand-up?
Wait, are we going? Is this it?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
This is why you're good at podcasting and I'm not a podcaster.
No, keep it natural. I like it. Is there anywhere I haven't done stand-up? It's a good question. I mean, I've bombed so many places, so I think not really. I think I've pretty much done it everywhere. It's maybe not in front of my parents that much, but
are they still in New Orleans?
Yeah, they're diehards. They're never going away.
What was it like growing up there? I can't even imagine.
It was fun, but again, it's a party city, so your friends come. They're like, "This is awesome! It's so pretty, and the food and the jazz." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you get to leave and then go eat a vegetable and get a hug and a ride to school." Whereas I'm like at a strip club in math class. I don't know. It was almost too much of a good thing sometimes.
How was the Staten Island ferry performance? That looked amazing.
Oh,
but I
can't
imagine.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah, I can't imagine how hard
I appreciate it. But yeah, it was rough. Basically, I do the Tonight Show once a year. And so this year, obviously pandemic, they're out of studios. So I said, well, let's do it on a roof or let's do it in a field or whatever we're doing now. Yeah. And then I said, well, why are we thinking so inside the box? Let's go outside and do the ferry.
Yeah.
And on paper, it was great. I got a crew together. We were all excited. And then it was just nightmare. We had a drone ready. We were going to get this great drone shot of the skyline and the boat. Yeah. And the ferry just went up. The wind caught it, went right in the ocean and or the river. So that was a bummer. And then the wind was so bad. You can see my hair is like flying this way and the sound was off. So we had to rejig the sound and it turned out weird. And we thought it'd be this special thing, but like 2 people watched it. So I guess it was, I appreciate it.
But yeah, I can't imagine how hard that must've been. Like even just the logistics and
Oh yeah. Brutal.
So I know you started in New York. I started through UCB in New York. Did you ever have like moments in New York where you were like, I'm done? Maybe not with comedy, but just like how hard it is in New York to live.
Maybe, but I guess I was so young and stupid that I just thought, this is what it is. I'm in New York. If you see a mouse in your apartment in New York, it's a bummer, but you're also like, hey, it's a New York mouse. All right. It's kind of romantic. And I just kind of embraced the sadness and the guy shitting on the subway or the guy jerking off. You just kind of go, hey, this is the movie of my life. How crazy. Yeah. I'm in my 20s. So I just embraced it and I had no plan B. So it was just keep going.
Yeah. Will you ever come to LA? Maybe?
Yeah, I love LA. I did come all the time. I love the store and the improv and all that. And I've done Conan a bunch and all the podcasts, but yeah, I hear it's pretpretty rough now.
Yeah. That's why I'm quarantining with my family in Philly, which is why this is my background. This was the best background I could get here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so closed down. It was really depressing. And
well, good for you for getting out. Philly's awesome. Philly's an underrated city, I think.
Yeah, right. I saw you were just there and you were at Soul Joel's too.
Yeah. I do Soul Joel's once every month. I mean, I love that place. It's my time of the month.
Did you have any worst like gigs in 2020 or 2021? Like,
oh boy. Wow. I mean, I did a show in Central Park once and it was so bad that I literally heard a cricket, like a real one. So that was brutal. But yeah, I mean, just most of the shows in 2020 were, because that's when Corona was like, it'll kill you. You're going to die if you go outside, And so everybody's in the park with a mask on, in the sun, mosquitoes, a bird shits on you, there's kids playing, and they were all pretty rough.
Yeah.
So I just filmed them all, and I made Park Normand or Roof Normand, whatever it is, just to like show people how silly this all is.
It's insane.
I mean, you've seen these parking lot shows, right? Where you perform and they're in their cars honking. I mean, it's a nightmare.
And then you can't hear them laughing. So you're like, are you bombing? Are you not bombing? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And they flash the lights and you're like, I guess that's good. If you're really killing it, you get the wipers.
Yeah. Oh my God. What have we come to? Like, yes, get that.
I know.
Oh God. So every time I've seen you, you kill. You're so good. Have you always been this good? Like, was there ever a time you were bad? I've never seen you be bad, so I can't.
I appreciate it. I mean, maybe you see me in LA where I'm trying to bring the heat to prove that some New Yorkers can be funny, and I'm trying to represent my coast.
Yeah.
But I'm doing shows down here. I did an hour last night. I probably bombed for 20 minutes of it, just trying new stuff and working it out, and we're all rusty. So yeah, a lot of bombing. I think bombing is part of it.
Yeah. That's crazy. I can't even imagine you bombing now.
It's very common. It's very common. I bomb a lot, so I appreciate it. But every now and then the guy making the basketball player misses.
Yeah. Do you ever get crazy DMs from people or crowd?
Oh yeah, I get a ton of gay guys. Apparently, I'm an otter or a twink or whatever the hell I am, a badger. I don't know, but. I get a ton of gay guys, just filthy dick pic and dirty talk, and I'll do this to you. Come over to our side. I'll go to town. So in a way, I kind of get what it's like to be a lady because I see how aggressive these dudes are.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. That's crazy. Well, okay, wait. So when I'm sad, I watch your New Day in Cleveland. Morning show was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. How was all of that coming about? Like, did you ever get in trouble for that? Or I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to get in trouble. But...
Well, Bobby Lee did it before me and basically like humped her. So like I was just doing jokes. So I touched her shoulder at one point, but I think Bobby Lee paved the way. So, but that's the thing that I've done all these Tonight shows and Conan's, nobody cares. And then I did that thing and it just popped. And that was out of annoyance. That was my whole motivation. It was my fourth one. It was 8 a.m. I'm hungover in Cleveland. So I'm just like, I'm just going to make myself laugh or just try to be me for a second. And she was so great. She doesn't get her due. Like she's a pro. She was acting more put out than she actually was. She was just rolling with it. She knew I'm the straight person. You be the funny one. And she's a pro. She's like an underrated comic genius, that lady, Natalie.
So I know you did Conan 6 times, I think. Like, how was that? I can't even imagine doing that 6 times. Such an impressive.
It was cool. I mean, I did it once. And it was so hard to get on the show because when you're starting out, you're nobody, so you keep sending all these tapes. And eventually, I sent one in, and they were like, "All right, we can work with this." They fly out, and it went so well that they were like, "We'll have you back next year." And that one went pretty well. And then it just became an annual thing, and it was that's really what you hope for in showbiz. Like you do well, and they reward you with more stuff. And it's not like you fit this mold, or you're hot right now, or you got some heat. It should be, hey, you killed it, come back. Yeah. So that meant a lot to me.
Oh, do you want to go into acting too, or anything?
No, I can't act. I'm a horrible actor. I feel silly doing it. It's all insecurity. Everybody knows I'm not actually crying, and that's all I can think about.
I know. The Groundlings, and they're always like, act better. Like, what are you doing? I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. I know. And we're the weirdos. They're just doing their job, but it's not in me. Can't do it.
I also saw you won it was like, I'm going to butcher it, but it's like Comedy Central, like comics to watch, like every single thing you could win. Do you just have like certificates or trophies everywhere of these?
I have them in a box, but my girlfriend's like, if you take those out, I'll kill you. They're so sad. I have all these, Conan, me on the wall, framed, hugging, and she's like, this is so gross. And I'm like, you're right. So I keep it, but it's in a box.
She sounds like healthy and normal. I'm like, show it everywhere.
Exactly. She's very normal. It'd be weirder if she was like, put it everywhere, like she's some kind of mom, We'll do a shrine to you.
All right, Jess and the guest listeners, as someone who is currently quarantining with their family, I've never needed therapy more in my life. I feel like everyone could use that. And luckily, there's a place like betterhelp.com. Again, that's betterhelp.com. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. And Jess and the guest listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Jess and the guest. This will help you with everything. It puts you in touch with a licensed counselor within 48 hours, which, dear God, we all need that, truly. So again, that's betterhelp.com/Jess and the guest, and you'll get 10% off your first month. I heard you followed Jerry Seinfeld. How did you have to do that, or?
I did. Yeah. I was doing a showcase at a club in New York, and they're like, "Oh, you're getting bumped." And I was like, "Ah, shit, who is it? Maybe Gaffigan or somebody." Yeah. And they're like, "It's Seinfeld," who I was like, "Ah." So he goes up and he does pretty well. He's trying some new stuff. He's messing around. And then he got off, and it's so cool because he's just a regular guy and he treats you like a comic. And he goes like, "They're not great. This crowd's a little chatty, this there." And you're like, I'm just like, he's talking to me. But I'm trying to retain it, but here's the thing, and I hope he never hears this. He's out in his mansion on Long Island driving a Porsche all day, eating caviar, but I'm in the trenches every night. So I went up there and did some shucking and jiving. I brought the heat. I played the hits, and it went really well. And he actually happened to watch. Wow. And he was like, "Hey, let's go hang out. That was a funny set." And I was like, so then we hung, and I got his number, and then I opened for him about a year later.
Oh my God, that's so
unreal.
Crazy. Yeah.
Unreal.
Was that like the best night of your life?
Best night of my life. I walked around, and here's the even craziest part. This is how cool he is. I got his number. I said, "I'll never text you. Don't worry, I'm not that guy." And he goes, No, text. I was like, "All right." And he, as a joke, I was walking away and I go, "Hey, I got a tag for that bit." Like, I'm going to give you a tag, give you a tag, this comedy legend. And he goes, "All right, yeah. I'm at home telling my gal, she's in her underwear. We're watching, 90 Day Fiance. And the text comes in from him. And I was like, ah.
Oh my gosh.
So he goes, "What's the tag?" And I go, "Oh my God, I was joking. But now I had to come up with a tag on the spot."
Like so much pressure, but also the coolest thing ever.
Coolest thing ever. And the tag sucked. And I could tell he hated it, but he was nice. And he was like, "It's not bad." And then we just got to talking about comedy, and super cool.
Because you have opened for such like huge people. Like, what did you learn from all that? I know it was like Amy, Jerry now.
Yeah, well, Jerry actually sat me down. I did 4 shows with him, and the first 2 went well. Yeah. I didn't kill, but they went okay. And he was like, "Can I give you a couple things?" I was like, please. And I was bracing myself because I'm such a sensitive douche.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Look, this is a theater, man. I know you're a club guy, but this is a theater. You got to get out there. You got to move." He's like, "You're standing in one space like a comedy club comic. You got to move and use that space." And I was like, all right. And I applied his notes, and he was completely right. By the end of it, I was murdering with the same material, but because I used his notes, it was a night and day.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have even thought of that. But yeah. That's why he's very smart. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Are you picking shows too right now and like doing all that kind of stuff, like going for TV shows or any of that?
I'm pitching 2 things right now, and they're looking pretty good. But I mean, you're in LA, you're in Hollywood. Just the pitching process is such a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because you gotta like come up with it, then package it, then pitch it, and then a production company goes, "We like it, let's take it out." Then you got to go out with them, come up with another pitch, and it's just so many steps. And which is why we got into stand-up or writing, is because like, I write a joke, I do it on stage, I rewrite it, I do it on stage again. This is like so many things that it drives me nuts, and it's like a 3-year process just to get it made. And then who knows if they'll buy it, and then it just keeps going. These suits are such dweebs and cunts, and they're so cowardly, because I get it. It's a job. They're trying to make money. But that's why we have a new Marvel movie every 2 weeks, because they make money, so they put them out. But they all claim to. I love Richard Pryor, and I'm like, you would never hire him now. This old black guy talking about pussy farts. What are you kidding? You would never hire that guy. But I don't know. They drive me nuts, and it's like you said, they have no business being in a creative field, and yet they're telling you what to do or what's good or what's appropriate. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. No.
Why YouTube is killing it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So I just checked out to Lunch again. it's almost 6 million views. Like, that's insane. Like,
yeah, I appreciate it. The whole thing's very surreal. I can't, every time I look at it, I'm like, I can't believe this is working. Because so many things in this biz, just you have so much faith in it and it just falls flat.
Yeah.
And this is actually still growing, and it's good because it's not about heat or like, this is the hot guy right now, this is the hot girl right now. It's just like, people seem to like it, so they're watching it. And that means the world to me.
Yeah. How long did it take you to do the special too? Because I mean, I felt like every joke in it could be a closer. Everything was so good.
Oh, thanks.
Like,
wow.
Great. So I was like, how did you, for me, it would have taken years to do. So I'm like, how did you do this?
It took years. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of that bombed on the road many times. So comedy's so weird like that, you know?
Yeah.
But did it for years, kept trying to sell it. Like I'd go to Denver, it would go well. And I'd be like, we're going to film this one. We film it in Denver. It would kill. We'd send it to Netflix. Here it is. And they're like, yeah, blow me. We're like, okay. And then maybe next year. And then eventually nobody would buy it. So I said, I bet if we shoot it and spend the money and actually, do it right in a theater, they'll buy it then. They're not going to produce it, but I bet they'll buy a done product. And they still didn't buy it. So we just put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And now I'm so glad I did.
I know. I was like, you definitely did the right move. Like,
thanks. Can I just say, HBO is the best of the networks quality wise.
Yeah.
It feels like you guys handpick. Netflix is almost this grab bag of like, throw a bunch of shit on the wall, see if some of it sticks. But you guys are like, no, let's just do this one. It'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rob Schneider has a Netflix special. So, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, how did this happen? Who approved this?
I actually got the answer because I asked the same thing. I was like, what the hell are we doing? And they said, well, he's in these Adam Sandler movies that are rough, but they do crazy numbers. Because I think people are just like, oh, it's Adam Sandler. It's clean. We've heard of him. We'll watch this with the kids.
Yeah.
So he's in them. So then they watch the Rob Schneider one too. And it just gets good numbers. But, the art form is suffering.
Do you remember your audition for SD at the Comedy Cellar? I know
do.
It was probably a while ago, but.
Yeah. Jeez, I think that was 2013, but
wow.
I know. I was opening for Amy Schumer at the time, and she was really blowing up, and we went from comedy clubs to theaters to arenas. And one day we're doing a comedy club, and it was just a regular old show, whatever, in Connecticut. And I drove her there in a rental car, and she was like, I think I did a set. And on the way back, that's what it was. On the way back, she was like, I think you're ready for the Cellar. And I was like, hey, whatever you think. And she's like, I'll recommend you. And I was like, okay. And it was a Sunday. And that next couple days, she's like, you got an audition, 11 p.m., blah, blah, blah. And I was like, ah. And she told me the day of. So I just ran. I called in a bunch of favors and ran the set, the 5 minutes, like 8 times before I got on.
Oh, smart.
11 o'clock turned to 1 a.m. Then it was 1:30. And then I finally got to go on. And it went well, and I was trembling, and you fill out a little sheet after. It was I danced around the city. There's been a lot of dancing around the city moments.
Yeah. Oh.
For me, yeah.
Yeah, that's so nice to hear though too, because I feel like New York is so hard to.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, good. There's happiness somewhere.
Yes, every now and then you have that happy moment, and you're twirling on the lamppost, and some guy's like, "Shut up, dickless." You're like, "Oh, sorry." So it goes away quick, but you get them a few every now and then.
Yeah. Is it really hard being on the road so much? Like, I feel like you're doing so much right now. I'm like, how are you doing everything?
I enjoy it. I mean, I like getting up. I like doing an hour. I like hotels. I'm in a hotel right now. I'm loving it. I think variety keeps you sane, or keeps me sane. Like the same routine every day. You wake up, you get out of bed, you brush your teeth, you have an egg, you have a coffee, and it's, what do I watch today? What do I do today? And I just like the hotel. It breaks it up a little for me.
Yeah. Do you have any like pre-show rituals at all?
Nah, my only thing is I'd like to look at the notes and get a shower in.
Yeah. Yeah. Important things,
Yeah.
What do you look for in comics now, like up and coming? Is there anything you're like, oh, they have to push boundaries, or they have to be great joke writers, or good performance, or just all of it?
I just want jokes, or it has to be a little bit impressive.
Yeah.
Because people are paying money and coming out and getting a babysitter. Yeah. And then you're just up. I hate these comics who are just like, what else is going on? How can you? It's like, this is not about your day. This is not about you venting. This is about a performance and a show, and you're an entertainer.
Yeah.
People are just like, these agreeance comics, like racism is horrible. You're like, yeah, I know. I saw that on bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Why am I paying money to hear you say it?
If you're like me, you have no time for breakfast. Trust me, I get it. And finding something healthy can sometimes be really difficult. So use Magic Spoon. It's this great cereal. It is low carb, high protein, and Jess and the Guest listeners get 10% off. Again, that's 10% off. Use code Jess and the Guest at www.magicspoon.com. I feel like your set always flows so well. And I feel like sometimes it doesn't, like other comics maybe don't have that skill. And yeah, how did you learn how to do that? Or is it just natural?
That's a good question. I did a special. Amy Schumer produced a special for me in 2016 on Comedy Central, which nobody saw. I didn't think it was that good. There was a couple great jokes in it, but as a whole, I didn't think it was that good. And I remember being like, man, I got some pearls in there, but it's not that great of a special. And it was because it wasn't constructed well. The flow wasn't there. So the out to lunch one, I'm like, I want the good jokes and I want it to have a theme or an arc or a narrative going through. And that changed the whole thing.
Oh, no, it was great.
Thanks.
So I know a lot of your friends, I saw this old photo of you guys. It was like Dan, Nate, you, Sam, like Joe.
Yeah.
Did you guys all really start around the same time?
Not really, but you start to learn quick who the nerds are, and you just kind of stick together. And we were all raging alcoholics, but Nate was ahead of us, and then Soder kind of came with Nate, and then came a little after Nate. So then we were trying to be friends with Soder to get to Nate, and then we became friends with Soder and Joe Lissy's over for Dane Cook and all these guys. Yes. So they've all been around. And I came in later, but I was obsessed with these guys, and I thought they were the funniest. And then me and Sam Morrill were about the same class, and a couple other guys. So, but it was all about just like, oh, you give a shit about this. You want to be good. I want to be good. Let's be friends.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say, do you just pick friends like just that are gonna be really successful? You're like, all right, we're gonna be best friends now.
No, I guess it's kind of like, girls in high school will hang out with other pretty girls. So we're like, that guy's funny. I want to be friends with him, or she's funny. I want to be friends with her. And it wasn't about anything else. Just like, we all want to be super funny. And also when you meet a funny person, you're like, oh, you're not crazy.
Yeah.
People you get into this business, you meet them and you're like, oh, you just want attention and you don't want to go talk into a microphone and you have no comedy chops whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be with them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if this is just me, but when I'm like just living life, I'm like, oh, this is a joke. Like, is it always coming in your head?
Always.
Do you ever take a break or like today I'm not going to do
I think that's why I drink, because I'm like, I just need to shut it off for a second. But Roy Wood Jr. had this great point on an interview. He was like, they were like, how do you write? What's your process? And he goes, I'm always writing. And they're like, oh, you write all the time, every day? He's like, no. When I take a shower, I'm writing. When I'm eating a meal, I'm writing. Because you're like, what's up with baloney? You're just thinking about shit while you're eating the sandwich or you're in the shower. Like, oh, it's weird when I wash my asshole with the bar of soap. How does that go down or whatever? So you're always kind of writing. Yeah. We act like writing is this pen to paper thing, but it's so much more.
Yeah. I also love that you drink. When I moved to LA, I was like, all right, guys, who's going to drink? And they were like, no, like, we're going to be sober and do jujitsu. And I was like, what is this? Like,
yes. What is that?
Yeah. I was like, can we just drink like just one happy hour? And they're like, no.
No, we're all insecure degenerates. Let's have a fucking cocktail.
Yeah. I went to my first like brunch and I was like ready to drink. And they're like, oh, it's not an unlimited brunch. Like, that's in New York. Like, who does that? Like, I thought everyone did that everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're trying to cut the tension here. I need some sort of liquid courage. Yeah. I'm freaking out that you guys hate me.
I know. And how are all your podcasts? You do so many podcasts too. I'm like, how do you? I just don't know how you have the energy to do everything. I'm so impressed because I don't.
Oh, it's mostly guilt. I mean, I used to do a lot of labor jobs like furniture mover and janitor and shit like that. I was a construction worker, gopher for a while. So like, if some guy goes, hey, will you do my podcast at 1 p.m. on Sunday? I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll do an hour. And sometimes you get a bit out of it, or sometimes you tell a funny story that you can use later. So I don't know. It just seems so easy. And plus with Zoom, it's like, how could I say no with Zoom? And what else would I be doing? I'd be scratching my ass on a couch watching, The Wire. So yeah, Why not do it? And I just feel wildly unproductive all the time.
Yeah, nope, same. Do you travel with your openers too? Like, do you have other people you're traveling with, or?
I have a couple guys and gals I'll kind of rotate because, I get it. I've featured for so long that those weekends, like, oh my God, I get to go to the Omaha Funny Bone and sit in the green room and eat a piece of steak and have a bunch of drinks and do a full show with a real crowd. Like, because we've all done open mics and all that shit. It's a nightmare. So I try to spread the love a little bit.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll see you back at Soul Joel's. I'll be there. So let me know. I can't thank you enough for doing this. Yeah. You're so talented. You're so funny.
I really appreciate you work for HBO. That's the dream gig.
No, you're incredible. Yeah.
We done? It's only a half hour. You good?
Yeah. I only do like a half hour because I'm like, I don't have the attention span. I feel bad. I'm not like a Joe Rogan, like, let's talk for hours. And,
right. Yeah.
God, well, I was doing that too. You're doing everything. Can't keep up with
thanks. I mean, I've done it a couple times, but it's been over a few years. But it's the coolest. But it is a weird thing. Going 5 million people are hearing this. 10 million people are hearing this. You're thinking that the whole time. So when you actually let go a little bit, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you like click back in. You sometimes you slip into the car and then you click back in, and then that's when the conversation is not good, ironically.
Do you feel the pressure to like say the right thing all the time, or?
I do. I definitely do. And I have friends who've been canceled or whatnot. And I try to I've noticed that if you keep it as jokey as possible, you can kind of get by. And, I'm not running for mayor. I'm a clown. I'm an idiot. I'm just trying to get yucks out here. And I like dark humor.
We just had like a group of 18-year-olds come to Andrew Dice Clay at Soul Joel's. And that's how it was. Yeah. And they were in the front row. And it was just like the whole time I was like, oh God. And they were just like crossing their arms and very angry. And
it's I get it. And look, I get it. I'm all about progress and all that, but like we're idiots. We're trying to make jokes, and we make jokes about horrible things, and we make light of it. And I don't understand that life choice. Like, it's weird. Chad Daniels has this great point. It's like he tells a joke, half the crowd laughs and half the crowd groans. And he's like, it must suck to be you because your life is ultimately worse than their life.
Yeah.
They hear a joke and enjoy it and have a good time, and you hear it and get upset. Yeah. So your life is just shittier because your brain goes to a shitty place and theirs goes to a happy place.
Yeah. I did this joke about like how I'm going to butcher now, but it was like Jack Black is the one like black life that doesn't matter. And people were like sending me DMs of like, I was like, you didn't even read it. You just wrote like, I was like, he's white. Like I just kept, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I fighting with these people about some stupid joke?
What do you think that is? Do you think they actually care, or does it give them a personality, or do they feel better about themselves if they yell at you? What do you think that is?
I feel like it's attention, or I don't know. Like I would never do that to someone. So I'm like,
I know.
But maybe that's because we're like healthy people, normal people, I guess.
Yeah.
Normal as you can be. But
it's fascinating. It's kind of all flipped. Like it's weird how in Portland, cocaine is decriminalized, but you can't say retard.
Yeah.
It's weird how drugs, when I was a kid, drugs were like evil. Hey, we got the DARE program, say no to drugs, but you could call a guy a gay thing or whatever. But now it's like, you can't say the word, but let's do heroin.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very strange how it just, everything went 180.
Yeah. No, I don't get it.
Yeah. We're trying to have fun. We're all going to die one day.
I know. Yeah. I was like, do people not see this? Like, why? But
I know.
I feel like you should run for mayor or something.
What are you kidding?
Be better at
I just don't. And what do you think about because you're in the business? You're literally 9 to 5ing in showbiz.
Yeah.
What is it when people go, the cancel? That's a made up thing. I'm like, that's all we talk about. Look at the guy from The Bachelor. Look at the gal from Star Wars. They're fired. But no, great questions, great hair, and sorry, I'm rambling here.
Every time I do these, I'm like, oh crap, I really need a haircut. I'm like, why? Because
it's cool. Go long.
But I'm trying to think with the cancel thing. I don't really believe any of this. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an odd phenomenon. It's a weird thing to put your energy into. We have one life. We're on Earth for one little blip, and we're gonna worry about Mr. Potato Head. It just feels like it's a weird. I think you know what it might be. It's you don't really see poor, disenfranchised people complaining about this. It's almost a privilege to have that kind of time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's But yeah, I feel like everyone in LA is getting canceled, but then they're still trying to pitch shows too, and people are hearing them. So
really,
so I don't know what's gonna happen with the future or anything.
Yeah. And I get, like, obviously Cosby's a fucking lunatic and a scary guy, and Harvey Weinstein. Like, I'm not. People sometimes they just go to extremes. They're like, "You're supporting Cosby." I'm like, "No, Cosby's a psycho who should be in jail forever. Give him the chair. I don't care."
Yeah.
But I'm just talking about, I don't know, the guy from The Bachelor made a point. I mean, you're gonna call the guy. He's on a show where we have women vying for the love of a black guy. Like, could you get more
I know. Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah.
All right.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. The whole world doesn't make sense to me right now, but.
And then I feel like you go to a cocktail party and you bring this up, and people are like, "Oh shit, who brought the weirdo?" And you're like,
Yeah. That's why I feel like you handled just as Souljal's, like, bringing up politics, but you did it in such a great way where, like, unified the audience.
Thanks. Keep it silly.
Yeah, because I made the mistake of making a Republican Party joke, and I got booed, and I was like, okay, I forgot I'm not in LA. Like,
oh wow,
right? Not in New York or LA. It was just about, like, Mel Gibson. Not if he could get canceled, he would go to the Republican Party with, like, anti-Semitism and hatred of women. It was just like funny. But people hated it. It was like,
really?
Great. But that's fine. I mean,
see, I don't like that either, because if you're gonna laugh at this, you gotta laugh at that. I'm all for nothing or all or nothing.
Yeah. So where are you now? You're in Cleveland? No, you're not in Cleveland.
I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Not bragging.
Oh my God. Hey, I'm quarantining with my parents, and my room was turned into a gym. So I literally I'm in my sister's childhood.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like way too old for this. I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
all good here. So you're killing it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, enjoy Philly, I guess. I mean, better than LA, so have fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much you're so funny. You're so talented. Can't wait to see you perform live soon. So thank you for everything. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for having me, and praise Allah.
Thanks. Bye. See you. Thank you. Hey everyone. Thank you so much for listening to Jess and the Guest. Please like, subscribe. You know the drill. All right. Tune in next Thursday for a brand new episode, and thank you again.